I'm going to get my camera on in a second. I'm just getting myself a bowl of chili.
Oh, don't worry about it.
Thanks.
We're going to give everybody just a few more minutes and we'll start as always.
Hi. Let me tell
All right, we'll start in just a sec. All right, guys, you can go ahead and put your videos on so I can give you guys attendance. Sorry, I'm just taking attendance quick. Okay, cool. All right, everyone can hear me, correct? Yes. Okay, cool. All right, so this week is going to be a little bit different, just because we are only going to actually be meeting today, okay, to go over the rest of chapter 8, our lab, and then Wednesday technically is we're using as a day for you guys to do your lab, okay? So I'm basically giving you that day as your own prerogative to do that. as well as work on any late assignments that anybody has, because after this Sunday, I will not be accepting any other late assignments up until this point. Okay. I will obviously send you guys an announcement on that as well, but I wanted to give you guys time to get all that stuff done. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so this is why we're doing it this way. And obviously we have not done every lab in person just because of obvious COVID reasons, things of that nature. So we are ahead of schedule. So this week is going to be a little bit easier, but with that being said, then you guys, it's your responsibility for those of you have not turned in certain labs, because most of you have done a great job of that. You have until this Sunday. The next Monday, we will be reviewing for your exam, and your next exam is is in about a week and a half on Wednesday. Okay. I will send all these dates to you guys on Blackboard. Okay. But we should be somewhat caught up on the actual syllabus. So if you guys are looking at the syllabus, we're basically up to date on that. Okay. Any questions on any of that stuff thus far? Nope. Okay. Obviously at the end of lecture, I will go over what you guys have due. Okay. And then talk about any other questions that we have before I send you guys on your way. Okay. So today will not be that long. So just bear with me for like 15 minutes or so, and then you guys can be on your way. Okay. So we are going to finish talking about chapter 8. Okay. So it's basically kind of like chapter 7, except now we're using different assessments to measure our VO2, a client's VO2, an athlete's VO2, anything along that nature. These assessments that we are doing in chapter 8 are definitely more straightforward, but with that being said, because they're straightforward, there's not a lot of steps, anything along those lines. They're, in my opinion, not as accurate as the steps that we did the assessments that we went over last week. Okay. So let's just jump into it. And then you guys obviously stop me if you have any questions along the way. Okay. So when we are assessing aerobic power, okay, basically it's a cardiorespiratory fitness, just our VO2. And we're obviously going to be using equations just like we did for chapter 7 to actually measure our VO2. Okay. So the best actual method of doing this is what's called a graded exercise test. So that GXT, it's a maximal test. Okay. It's going to be considered the gold standard of testing. So if you guys have ever seen those VO2 tests that have an individual on a treadmill with a mask on, it's actually measuring the amount of oxygen that you're taking in and carbon dioxide that you're blowing out. That is technically considered the gold standard. However, as we've gone over before, we cannot all use this testing because it uses very expensive equipment. You have to have the availability for that equipment, and you definitely need to be trained more in giving this actual assessment. It's also not easy because like it says in this slide here, it's a maximal test. So if it's a maximal test, if we're thinking about it in that nature, can everybody actually take this test? What do you guys think?
No.
No. Okay. So why would we think that not everybody would take the test? What are some reasons that you guys may think?
Health issues.
Health issues. That's a big one. Okay. So if we're doing a maximal test, you guys are literally, say you're running on the treadmill, you are going until that last point that you cannot go anymore to get those measurements. So anybody with any type of health issues, whether it be high blood pressure, heart issues, orthopedic issues, even if you say you have a knee injury, something along those lines, osteoporosis, any of that stuff is going to be very taxing on the body for someone to actually do this. And also someone who's not as trained, okay? Even if they don't have any health issues, anything along those lines, just sticking somebody on a treadmill and making them do this maximal test is going to be very taxing on the body and not always the smartest idea. So this is why, unless we are in that absolute clinical setting, a lot of the times we use submaximal aerobic testing, okay? So obviously this is the alternative, the safer way, okay? I'm even saying like the easier way, okay? It's going to require less from the individual, and it's also going to require less from the tester, okay? These two, actually three submaximal aerobic power tests we're doing, you can do on your own. You don't even have to have somebody doing it, okay? You don't necessarily need medical supervision unless you have a contraindication or something along those lines that you need that medical supervision. And it also, you don't need any lab equipment. Literally, you need something to measure the distance, something to measure time, and something to measure your heart rate. Okay, whether you have a heart rate monitor or you're just palpitating your radial artery, anything along those lines. So it's much, much easier. Okay, so they're technically considered field tests. If you guys remember, these are tests that we don't need to do in a laboratory setting. Okay, so we could do on a track, we could do on a treadmill, we could do throughout the streets wherever you guys live. Okay, so that's basically a field test. Okay, easy to administer, like I just talked about. And like I said, the things that you need to do, it's time needed to cover a specific distance. Okay, so that's one thing that you would be measuring, or the distance you actually covered in a set time frame. So this is how we are finding the subject's VO2. So time needed to cover a specific distance. Okay, so if it's that 1.5 mile run, how much time did it take you to run that 1.5 miles or walk that 1.5 miles? Okay, or you have that 12-minute run, how much time did you actually run or walk within that 12-minute time frame? Does that make sense to everybody? Okay. All right, told you guys this is not rocket science, I swear. Okay, so you guys did you should have done the assignment, okay, for the video assignment to about the Cooper 1.5 mile run, the Cooper 12-minute run, and the Rockport walking fitness test. So we're just gonna walk through this really, really quickly, and then I will explain your actual lab. Okay, so for that Cooper 1.5 mile walk or run, okay, so remember you are going 1.5 miles. All right, that's the total distance that you are covering, and then you need to find out how quickly you did that. Okay, so basically you can use the app Map My Run, okay, and this is why these assessments are very, very easy. You can download it on your computer. There's also, or not your computer, I'm sorry, your phone. There's also tons of other apps that you guys can download that will tell you that actual distance, okay? So you just basically using that, you start, okay? And then you see how long it actually took you to either run or walk those 1.5 miles, okay? It requires your time and your weight, okay? And then you plug it obviously into a VO2 equation. I will go over the equations with you guys at the end of this, okay? There's two separate equations, okay? One for males, one for females, or there's one equation that accounts for gender, okay? I will take you through all of that, so don't worry about it this second. Okay, so the Cooper 12-minute run walk test, the subject runs or walks constantly, okay? So you wanna continue to keep moving. You're not trying to stop, okay? So that's one thing we need to remember about this one. For the allotted 12 minutes, trying to cover as much distance as possible. So when I was learning in, long time ago, when I went to personal training school with Professor Stone, she was my teacher, this is one of the things that we did, and we did it on a treadmill. So obviously you can either walk this or run it. You can do it on a treadmill, you can do it on track, you can do it through your neighborhood, whatever it may be. This one's pretty easy because you're just seeing the amount of time or the amount of distance that you cover in those allotted 12 minutes. Okay, so tester is obviously going to record the distance. You stop the subject at exactly 12 minutes, whether you are doing this for someone else or you are running, okay? And then you have an equation that uses the distance to figure out your VO2, okay? Any confusion on that at all? Cool. All right, we got 2 more slides. That's it, guys. Okay, so Rockport fitness walking test. Okay, so this is a test where you are just walking. So this is probably one of the easiest tests to have anybody do. Okay, again, can be done outside, just walking through the neighborhood, down the street or sidewalk, can be done on a track, can be done on a treadmill, anything along those lines. Okay, so subject walks, all right, there's no running in this, a mile, okay? The test records the time and the heart rate for 15 seconds immediately after that test, okay? And then the equations are based on gender and age and uses your age, weight, and time, okay? So basically you're recording your heart rate, okay? You're using your age and your weight and the time that it actually took you to walk that 1 mile. what you guys want to try to remember with this test, you want to try to keep going that constant pace, which makes it a little bit difficult, okay? And also there's variation in whether you are going to do this correctly. To actually walk up pace at, if you guys are just walking outside and not on a treadmill, can be a little bit more difficult, okay? But then it's also decently easy in the aspect of all you need to do is walk that 1 mile, okay? Any question on any of the 3 aerobic power assessments that we just talked about, okay? If you guys did not do that assignment, okay, and this is also why I'm giving you guys a little bit of extra time, now would be the time to do the assignment over the videos and on these so you guys understand exactly how they're happening, okay? All right, let me switch my screens and I will take you through the lab and then you guys will be on your way today. Okay, we can all see this, correct? Okay, so what we are going to do, all right, since obviously we have a lot going on with COVID, things like that, of that nature, I know last week I kind of made up my own lab. Same thing, but I just wanted you guys to understand how to take blood pressure at certain points when someone's working out, how to take their heart rate, how to figure out what that heart rate recovery means, okay? So what you guys are going to do, if you guys look at this sheet, okay, you guys are going to perform the assessments yourself, okay? So this is also why you guys have a good week to do this, okay? If for some reason somebody has an issue doing this on your own, you're concerned for some reason, anything along those lines, please get a hold of me. I will modify it for you and have you complete the lab in another way, okay? But let's go over it really quickly. Obviously, this is for you yourself, okay? However, if you'd like to do it with a partner, so that just means 1, so 2 of you guys, you can do it with a partner. If you are going to do this with a partner, that means you are basically assessing that other person. You're not assessing yourself. If you are doing it on your own, you can assess yourself. These are all things that you guys can do on your own, but I'm giving you that opportunity to do it with a partner if you'd like. No more than 2 together though, okay? If you do decide that you are doing it with a partner, please make sure you denote that on your lab, okay? So I know that you guys have done it together, okay? With me so far? Cool, okay. So obviously you're gonna fill out the top, okay? Name, if you are the tester, then you can put, if you're doing it yourself, you can put your name and you as the tester. Obviously, if you're doing it for a partner, their partner's name is gonna go here. And then you are obviously gonna write your name where the tester goes, okay? So when you're doing the Cooper 12-minute walk and run test and the Rockport 1 mile walk test, these should not be tests that are hard for you guys, okay? You can all walk them if you need to, all right? You need to denote where you are doing this, okay? So if you guys choose to just do it outside, that's fine. If you choose to do it on a track, you need to let me know that you are doing it on a track. If you choose to do it on a treadmill, let me know that you're doing it on a treadmill, okay? All things that I need to know. So basically, you guys all have that assignment that I gave you, the video assignment that tells you exactly how to administer these tests. These are the easiest tests to administer, okay? It's nothing that should be confusing for you guys. So if you are confused on how to administer this test or to do it yourself, please reference that video assignment that I put together for you guys when you had to denote the steps of everything. If there is still confusion, reach out to me and we can go over it together so I can make sure you guys are doing it correctly, okay? So your assignment is basically, you have to do the Cooper 12-minute run walk test and you have to do the Rockport 1 mile walk test, okay? If you are doing it outside, there are a lot of apps that you guys can download on your phone, okay? If you guys have fitness watches, you can use your fitness watches, whatever you want to get this done. I'm allowing you to be creative with this, okay? Because when other individuals are doing this for themselves, they're doing the same thing, okay? So do what you want, okay? It's not that important that we all do it on the treadmill or we all do it outside. I want to see the difference, what people are getting, okay? So you're gonna do both of those, and then all you're gonna have to do is just answer the questions at the bottom here. Your equations for both of these are going to be right here if you guys scroll down, okay? If they may seem a little bit daunting, like some of our equations, but it's completely straightforward how you do that, okay? So you have your body mass in pounds, walk time in minutes. Make sure you are looking at what the denotation is, whether it's pounds, kilograms, whatever it may be. If you guys goof that part up, you are going to goof up the lab. So you have to look what it says. On our exam, some of us did not change things into centimeters, so therefore we got things wrong. So make sure you guys are always looking at what it is asking you to give them, okay? If there is a confusion on how to put something in a certain unit, you guys should all know how to do this because you do it well all the time. But if there's confusion, please let me know, okay? I'm always happy to help you guys out and walk you through this, okay? So essentially, this is all you guys are doing, okay? I'm giving you all week just because some of you might not have time to jump outside today. It is supposed to be beautiful this week, so you guys may as well get outside and get this done, okay, before the weather turns and it's freezing again. Again, like I said, if you guys have issues and you cannot do it outside, you cannot get to a gym, anything along those lines for any reason, whatever it may be, please get a hold of me. I will figure out another way for you guys to do this assignment and be able to answer the questions. It's really not that big of a deal, okay? Are there any questions on what we have to do for this actual lab? I hope that means you guys are gonna do this perfectly. I trust you guys to do this, you guys will be fine. Okay, so this lab is going to be due next Monday by class time, okay? So this is the sheet that you guys will see on your Blackboard. There's another sheet under lab 8. You do not have to do that sheet because basically you did everything that that sheet asked for in your video assignment, denoting the steps, the equipment, all that type of stuff. So this is the only sheet you need to do for your actual lab 8, okay? If you get questions on it, please ask me again, okay? So this is going to be due next Monday, okay? So now what you guys have for this Wednesday's class, we are not actually meeting in lab or physically, okay? I'm giving you class time to do this lab, okay, if you guys have to get outside, but also to do whatever you guys need to catch up on anything that you have for the class, okay? You guys are all doing a really good job. I know it gets monotonous, okay? I know a lot of the times we're on Zoom. I wanna make sure we're keeping up with everything before you guys get to that third test, and then all of a sudden we have Thanksgiving break, we come back and we have our final test. So I want you guys to be caught up. So with that being said, any assignments that you guys have that have not been turned in, or I have left notes on Blackboard for you in order for if you guys want to redo things to get extra points, all of that needs to be done by this Sunday at end of day, unless I speak to you separately on it and give you an extension. Okay, everybody got that? So if you have assignments that you have not finished and you still need to complete, unless you speak to me about it separately and I change the date, okay, it is all due by this Sunday at midnight. No, yes, this Sunday at midnight. Sorry, it's clearly Monday and my brain's not working. Okay, all right. And then next week, before I let you guys know, Monday we will be reviewing, and Wednesday will be your next exam. So exam 3. This exam 3, I don't think is as hard as your other 2 exams. It's very straightforward. It's filling out equations according to VO2 with case studies. You guys should be just fine, but we will review all of that on Monday to make sure you guys are on the right page and know what's going on. Okay, any questions whatsoever? All right, so you guys have a pretty easy week ahead of you. Make sure you use your time wisely. Ask questions if you need to. I know some of you have questions, so we'll chit chat. And other than that, make sure you guys have a good week, and I will see you all next week.